Welcome back, friends, to Build a Lot Acres. In today's video, I'm going to tell you why I'm headed back to Makita land. Stay tuned. So those of you that have only known me through YouTube the last 3 or 4 years, which let's be honest is most people watching, kind of got to know me as the Bauer guy. After all, I did a lot of videos where I talked about Bauer tools and how I thought they were one of the best choices, especially for considering their price point. And I stand by that statement. I think compared to a lot of the name brand tools, what you pay per tool versus the name brands, for people that aren't using the tools to make a living and they don't need to use them every day, I still stand by that statement. I think Bauer is a great choice, and I have no intention of getting rid of my Bauer tools. But I've come to the realization, now that I'm a contractor full-time again, there's just been a few of the Bauer tools out of my line that just have let me down. And when you're making a living with your tools and you're using them every day and you really depend on them, one tool or two tools not working can really throw a monkey wrench in the works. So without getting into too many specifics, there was really only maybe 2 out of 10 or 12 Bauer tools that I have that I really can't endorse, and that's going to be the hammer drill. I had 2 different Bauer 20-volt hammer drills. Neither of them really worked right out of the box. I ended up having to return them both. And then the other one's going to be the Bauer tire inflator, which also didn't work out of the box. So, like I said, if you need these tools and you're on a job site half an hour from your house and you need that tool to finish the job, it can really be a pain in the butt not having the tool do its intended purpose. It got me to thinking, do I stick with Bauer? After all, I'm invested probably around $1,200 into their line between all my tools and batteries, chargers, and different things. Or do I go to a brand that I've known in the past to be very reliable and trustworthy? And that's why I decided to go back to my roots and go back to Makita. This barrel grip jigsaw was actually my very first power tool I ever got. I got this for Christmas in 1996 from my parents, and I've had it for the last almost 30 years. And you know, over the years I accumulated a lot of Makita tools. I would say around 2006 to 2010 area is when I bought the majority of my Makita tools, such as my Makita 7 1/4 inch circular saw, my AVT or anti-vibe technology reciprocating saw, my 10-inch dual miter compound saw. Let's see what else we got here. My 18-volt LXT hammer drill slash. There's also an impact driver over there. And this is one of my father's drills he used to have. This is a 14.4 volt NiCad drill. Before this, we had Makita 9.6 volt tube batteries, which had a long skinny battery, looked kind of like a tube. And then it felt like heaven when we got into these 14.4 volt NiCads. They had a lot more power than that old 9.6. And then I also have this twin stack compressor, which is actually probably one of my newest Makita tools other than the ones I just bought. And this was bought in 2015. I made a custom little kind of wheel around stand for it. And then we got this table saw. This table saw is a model 2708. It's a pretty popular Makita saw back in the 80s and 90s. This one is from 1987, although I bought it much later than that. I bought it probably around, again, 2010-ish maybe. I got it actually at a Boy Scout yard sale, and I made a little stand for it. My father has a twin sister to this saw at his house, and these are great saws. You can see this one has the original dark green Makita, which is actually making a comeback. I see that Makita now has a line of camping gear. It has this kind of darker army green rather than the bluish green that a lot of the newer Makita tools have. So like I said, I have no intentions of getting rid of my Bauers, at least at this time. But there's just been a few tools of theirs that just really haven't lived up to my expectations. But I would say 70 to 80% have. Honestly, when 1 or 2 out of 10 fail, it is a big deal, because that's, you know, 10 to 20% of your tools. Well, you still have a 70 to 80% success rate. No tool brand is going to be 100% perfect. You might have issues with batteries or tools. But all of these Makita tools that you see behind me that I just showed you that are anywhere from about, 10 up to 40 years old, like that table saw, still work great. In fact, most of these are my daily tools. This is my daily circular saw I use every day in construction. Same thing with a reciprocating saw, same thing with a jigsaw, same thing with a table saw. So I mean, to be able to use them daily as a contractor when some of the tools are 30, 40 years old and they still work fine, pretty amazing. But I am curious, are the new 18 volt Makita batteries the same as the old ones? Let's find out. All right, so I guts to know, is this 18-volt battery gonna fit in my old 18-volt charger? They're both LXT. Well, let's find out. So when I look at the new 18-volt battery compared to one of my older batteries, this is about probably, like I said, 18 years old or so. They certainly look to be the same. This one obviously is going to go in the charger. Will the new one go in the charger? It would appear so. Old drill, new battery. Alright, so let's wrap up the video. Some of you might be wondering, why didn't I go with a world-renowned Milwaukee or DeWalt? I will say, in the US at least, Milwaukee and DeWalt seem to be the two top power tool brands. They certainly get pushed the most, and you see them advertised everywhere. But I would say worldwide, if you stepped out of the United States and went into other countries, you're probably going to find Makita overall is more popular worldwide than Milwaukee and DeWalt. So I've had both DeWalt and Milwaukee tools in the past, and they do make great tools. Actually, I believe my second power tool I ever had was a Milwaukee Magnum hole shooter, which was a 1/2-inch drill. And they do make good tools, but Makita's always going to be my first love. Something about it, I don't know what it is, but so I will say, as a carpenter, I've noticed over the years that Makita seems to be more popular amongst carpenters than other trades. For whatever reason, it seems like plumbers and electricians really like Milwaukee. A lot of them like DeWalt. I noticed a lot of electricians even like Ryobi. But it seems like carpenters, a lot of them like Makita, and I think that's because while Milwaukee's kind of known for their power, Makita's kind of known for their quality and their finesse. They're a little more fine-tuned instruments, I guess you could say. The saws especially are outstanding. I would say Makita saws are amongst the best in the world. Festool also makes a great saw. And I would say Milwaukee's probably better known for like their impact drivers and drills, but they're all top name brands and you really can't go wrong with any of them. I'm intending to keeping my Bauer tools, at least for now, and I'm slowly going to introduce more and more Makita 18-volt tools back into my lineup. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. So let me know, what's your tool brand of choice? Do you like Makita, Milwaukee, DeWalt, Ryobi, Rigid? Do you like the Harbor Freight brands? Do you like Bauer and Hercules? I think there's a lot of good points that you could talk about with a lot of these brands. So let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.